What's up, fellow barbarians? We had a campfire chat today, and it's time to go over what we learned. First off, this is a great overview of the season and what's to be expected. Occult gems are very similar to the Malignant Hearts of Season 1, and your witch powers are similar to the vampire powers of Season 2. Armory looks awesome. They did some good quality life updates. The uniques, I wish we had more, but that's okay. Overall, this season looks awesome. I am very excited to play this season. I'm definitely going Barbarian. And I want to try out the Iron Maelstrom build first. Let's talk about what happened today. Highlighted in blue is everything that they've changed from the PTR. So Hammer of Ancients got a buff of 10% up to 90%. Amazing. With Furious Hammer of the Ancients, your critical strike chance per 10 Fury now goes up to 5%. That's great, but with the red ring and the other ways to get 100% crit, this is still useless, and we're going to use Violent Hammer of the Ancients for the overpowers. Whirlwind gets a mild buff, still not enough for a straight Whirlwind damage build, but will be helpful. Looks like Iron Maelstrom was a little bit too strong in the PTR, and it got a slight nerf from 80% to 60%. Prime Iron Maelstrom had a damage increase from 40 to 50, and Supreme Iron Maelstrom now works better. You just have to swap weapons to get the cooldown instead of deal damage. Iron Maelstrom is definitely one I am looking at playing, and if I get the right uniques, I'll try it first. Our Belligerence passive got a mild buff from 3 to 4%. Our basic skill builds will still be even more powerful now. Tempered Fury got a mild buff from 3 to 5, which will be great for the Magnum Opus. And the Walking Arsenal passive has an increase from 20 to 25% on crowd control and attack speed. Mild buff, better than nothing. I'll take it. This should go really good with the Iron Maelstrom. Gushing Wounds got a mild buff. It's still not enough. I was really hoping that the damage over time multiplicative bonus would go from 70 to at least 90% to make Gushing Wounds a lot better, but we'll have to see what this does and how productive it is. One of our new legendary aspects already got a buff. Incendiary Fissures are now going to deal 40 to 60%, so a 5% increase there. Executioners got a nerf. Earthquake aspect got a buff as well from 20 to 60. It doubled. That's crazy. And the Volcathos aspect also doubled. Our new unique, Mantle of Mountain's Fury, already got a buff, buffing Hammer of the Ancients damage by double, up to 100%. The Fields of Crimson also got a damage increase. Okay, 50% to 70%. This might be enough to make this finally viable. I'm very interested to test it out in Season 7. And the Force of Nature Paragon board also got a buff. The damage versus close scaling increased to 30 to 40, and the maximum increase from 150 to 200%. They also made a couple changes from the PTR with the new aspects here. Clearly these were overperforming as they have slightly nerfed them. We can still have 10 stacks, but now we can only deal up to 100% damage. And the other aspect, now you only gain 2 additional skill ranks instead of 4. Now for some more balance updates. Some of these we've already discussed, like the Hammer of the Ancients. Mighty Throw is also getting a buff. The impact damage from 80 to 105%, and the pulse damage increase from 35 to 50. Mighty Throw will still be very powerful for Season 7. Kick finally increases damage with now skill ranks. Mighty Kick's knockdown duration is increased to 4 seconds. Wrath of the Berserker with rank 5 will bring enemies in and deal 200% damage to them. I really liked how they knocked them back instead of pulled them in, as you could use it to get out of tight spaces. Call to the Ancients, rank 5 skill bonus is now it'll gain movement speed, which is amazing, and distant damage reduction. That's good. It would have been nice if it was like 10% just straight damage reduction. That would have probably been a little bit too powerful, but would have been amazing. Prime Call to the Ancients damage bonus is now increased 5% to 30. And our Iron Maelstrom damage is also increasing. 15% for the two-handed bludgeoning slam and 10% for the dual wield swing. We also got some updates to our passives. Heavy Hitter. This is now going to be a staple in every Dust Devil, Earthquake, and Ultimate skill build, as it now will scale your Ultimate, Earthquakes, and Dust Devils by 15%. Defensive stance isn't used much, and I still can't see people using it. Even though it's a good buff where it heals you for max life, I think the max life is a little bit too low in order for people to take that. Really looking forward to the Slaying Strike buff, as now we deal 5% increase to injured and healthy enemies. I think this will make a very significant difference in all builds. And if you combine that with Unbridled Rage, where now the damage is doubled against injured enemies, I think that's going to make for some pretty cool combos for once enemies are injured. Legendary aspect buffs, some we've already talked about, like the Executioners, that's getting mild nerf. And the Earthquakes is getting a mild buff. Same with Bokathos. We talked about that earlier. Ancestral Echoes. I haven't seen many people run this, but now it gives a 20 to 40% summoning skill damage bonus. Same with Ancestral Charge. So they're kind of rewording it, I feel, to making it synergize with other things, which is good. Encroaching Wrath got a buff. And an increase in duration. I really like this. So now instead of within 5 seconds, it's within 8 seconds. Mighty Throw is getting another buff. Again, Mighty Throw is going to be a top tier build still. Couple unique changes that we've already discussed as well. How Twin Strikes is now going to stun enemies. And Unbroken Chain now gives you ranks to Slaying Strike instead of Pit Fighter, which is an amazing swap. And your damage reduction is increased. The Ugly Bastard helmet's also getting a buff, and it's going to be a great helmet for Season 7. And we have 2 changes in our Paragon board. The Bonebreaker Legendary node. Used to read every 12 seconds, your next skill is guaranteed to overpower. Now, every 12 seconds, you are guaranteed to overpower. And when you overpower, your ultimate skill deals 10% increased damage for up to 10 seconds, up to 80%. And the Weapon Mastery node. Swapping weapons gains you 8% max fury, and now you deal 30% increased damage to injured and healthy enemies. So Weapon Master is doubling down on Slaying Strike, which will make that very powerful. Now we have some important loot updates. These are really good. So first off, the Ancestral drop rate has been increased. Amazing. And this one I think is my favorite. Minimum roll for legendary aspects on an ancestral item is now equal to the max roll of a non-ancestral item. From now on, we are going to get max aspects, finally. This will make greater affix so much more fun to get. Another interesting change that they made was now the variance roll on a unique item power has been reduced. Additionally, the variance for the strength of the power further reduces for each greater affix present. So now our unique items are going to be more powerful if they're greater affixes versus non. This is a really good change, and I'm really curious how this plays out and how much further a greater affix item will be versus a non. Very curious to see how this works. A small quality of life change for Infernal Hordes is the compasses now stack, and the count is 99. So now you no longer have a full stash tab full of Infernal Hordes. And a couple bug fixes, which one is really needed and one really sucks. Tactical Iron Skin would heal for more than intended, which was great because you'd get full life. They fixed that. But another issue is the screen jitter when casting Whirlwind. That would happen to me all the time. I found it quite annoying. I'm glad this is fixed. There are a lot more patch notes, but most of them are the nerfs for the Spiritborn. They did talk a little bit about the Occult Gems and the Witch Powers, how they're buffing, most of them nerfing a couple, but those are the Barbarian changes. Overall, I'm excited to play Season 7. In theory, this should be their best season yet. The changes, the quality of life, the armory. I'm really pumped for Season 7. I think this season has, on paper, it looks amazing. It has everything that you'd want. It should be super fun, and I'm excited to get in on Tuesday. Alright guys, on Tuesday I will be streaming with a Barb, and whatever unique I get first, I'm going to build around that while I'm leveling. I do have a leveling build in mind, which I'm going to post over the weekend, but once I get one legendary item, I'm going to build around it. And I'm excited to make more builds for Season 7. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in Season 7.